Dragon Ball Z.
People, we're back with part 2 of the Dragon Ball franchise discussion. And
Part
now,
2. Saga continues. That's the motto for today. Every saga continues. Even sagas that were left alone since 1996.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Battle with the Gods. Dragon Ball Resurrection Frieza. Man, this Dragon Ball franchise has come up with a vengeance. Dragon Ball is such like an iconic piece of art art, animation or manga, whatever.
And money-making machine.
Pop culture. It was never really going to go away. There was only so many Dragon Ball Z games they could keep on redoing without having...
And remake movies. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Kai. You know, remake of Z. All that stuff. Basically re-releases, remakes.
There was going to be a point that they were going to have to do something more. I had no doubt. Now, I think most people were surprised when the creator, Akira Toriyama, came out this time and put in my hat in. And I want Simon to actually go on it because he actually enlightened me. Because I stayed away from the Dragon Ball franchise after the end. Everything I've heard about it new, I just was like, just leave it alone. I'm kind of those, leave it alone and start afresh. But apparently, I heard Akira Toriyama was so disgusted with Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh.
That he was actually disgusted.
Who wasn't? Huh? Who wasn't?
I know. But as the creator, he felt like he wanted to... I think he was just... Of course he was upset, but apparently that had a little bit of a hand into why he decided to come back. How much of a hand that made the decision in coming back, who knows? But I can understand why as a critic you want to do that. But I have my own thoughts on this series coming back the way it has. And I'm going to let Mr. Simeon Rad tell us what he feels about it, because I have an opinion that I've pissed off a lot of people. But I'm going to let you go first before I start my little ramble about it. So what do you think?
And it's funny because actually you and I kind of differ after some point. We agree on certain things.
Yeah.
But for all of you who watch part 1, you know that we go back with the Dragon Ball franchise all the way to the 90s. And
loyal fans.
Yeah, we both love it. But I think where you and I agree on, we didn't ask for this. Like, nobody was saying, dig up the old crew and continue the story. And when you and I were talking about it in the first place, you didn't even know where this takes place. Yeah. So just to keep everybody in the loop, basically.
Please tell us how it works out.
When Dragon Ball Z ended, the final 2 episodes took place a bunch of years after the Buu saga. And this new series, as well as the 2 new movies, Battle of the Gods and Battle of the Gods 2, Battle of 2, Resurrection of F, they both take place right after the Buu saga. So in between the end of Dragon Ball Z and the end of the Buu saga. Right. So before the final 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, basically. They may have done this for 2 reasons. Either because they like, the demographics they have. They like having Goten and Trunks at a young age for the younger kids, and having Goku and Vegeta active, and everybody who saw Dragon Ball Z know what's up. Or maybe because nobody really likes Dragon Ball GT anymore, especially not Akira Toriyama, who clearly just wanted to get away from the franchise when that whole thing was going on after trying to quit and end it, 3-4 times in an arc.
He let them take the name and do what they want.
He said, okay, I tried to end this once, twice, 3 times. I'm just going to walk away at this point. And nobody accepted GT as a real ending. Z is the classic, and people kind of rediscovered Dragon Ball over time. And maybe he just wants to change the ending. His writing definitely got more sophisticated. I didn't enjoy the special where they introduced Vegeta's brother, or...
I never ever heard of that. Vegeta has a brother.
Who can't fight. I don't know how to link...
can't fight.
Yeah, can't.
And he's a Saiyan.
Yeah. I don't know how to links to all Saiyans dying in the hands of Frieza and all that.
I heard he was away.
Yeah, but we could go on about it forever. But point is, between, this Dragon Ball Super, and since he left Dragon Ball Z, every time he came out with an announcement of, the androids' background, their names, and Dr. Gero and his experiments, or the little manga special where they introduced Goku's mother, and she wasn't like a tough warrior anymore. She was more human. It wasn't the best, but it showed that this guy really wants to come back. And I think you said it, do a Rocky Balboa, a better ending to the story.
Yeah, I want them to, if he's coming back to just cap off Dragon Ball Z, because to me, just cutting a little bit, when I heard he was just coming in to do a series at the end of Z, I thought, why is he coming at the end? Why don't you just do something fresh?
Yeah, but like brand new characters even.
But apparently, when I made that comment, a lot of fans were like, "What are you talking about?" No. So okay, all right, let's see. So I'm just hoping it's more like a Rocky Balboa. He comes and does a good ending rather than a Rocky 5 where it's a piece of shit. So, but you carry on.
No, I agree. And to be honest with you, that is the only thing that makes me hopeful. Because with all these, like anybody who watched Dragon Ball movies and Dragon Ball Z movies, they know they never make sense in terms of the continuity. There are movies where in the story at that time, some of the cast members are dead, yet they're in the movie, so it makes no sense completely. So them trying to release new movies and kind of add new material to the actual canon, I never was really excited for it. It never really made sense. I didn't enjoy Battle of the Gods. I always thought that it was trying to go back to the Dragon Ball humor, but at certain characters' expense. You know, it doesn't make sense for Vegeta to be so meek and cowardly after being the guy who clearly fucks up every time he needs to make a decision between the safe bet and going real dangerous. He always like, I want to fight the strongest opponent. Now he has a fucking god to fight, and he's like, let me try to avoid conflict. But again, it's just something you can go on and on and on about. But I think where you and I differ is that I think that over the years, through even stuff like Dragon Ball Average, that now I can show my girlfriend and introduce her to Dragon Ball. Yeah. Because God knows nobody's going to watch all 292, 92 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. It's not a series anymore. It's a pop culture phenomenon that people retrospectively discover. Yeah. So they could literally...
Only the old fans,
Yeah. And they could literally do anything with it because nobody takes the canon seriously. I mean, there has been an ending to Z. There has been an unofficial ending in GT that people are saying, oh, that's not really canon anymore. You know, there's... Akira Toriyama even made a point about it that no more Super Saiyan levels at the end of the first Battle of the Gods. Everybody realizes that you can get stronger by staying Super Saiyan. You don't need more levels.
I'm going to touch more on that when I speak about it. But
yeah, that was one of the things you didn't really understand. That there are no more levels. There are colors now. Now we go. You have yellow shit, you have red shit, and you have the blue shit, and whatever comes next. But I'm hopeful that because you can do anything, this new series kind of has me nostalgic, and I think if he really learned from the mistakes in the past, this could be something exciting. At least more character focused, and from the first episode, we actually see Goku being a father. You know, every character has a more rounded personality. Mr. Satan is not just a wacky asshole, but a con artist. He also kind of helps out at the end.
The first episode of Super we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That just premiered.
Yeah, at the time of this recording, we've only seen the first episode of Dragon Ball Super. Even though the next one's coming out tomorrow by the time of this recording.
But basically, you heard that I wasn't too pleased with any of the spin-off stuff, and I thought they should leave the canon alone. But now that the original creator is back with a more character-focused approach, I think that you can be positive for Super. So that's my stance on this, and I want to hear yours.
I avoided watching Battle of the Gods because I didn't understand where it fit in with the continuity.
It was confusing. Yeah.
So I only watched Battle of the Gods before making this video because even when I heard it was really bad, really I'm gonna be honest, guys, I had a real big bias against watchers. I thought, why are they doing this? Just continuing it bothered me. Yeah. I think the Saiyans and the character as a base could go on and do different things. They can go and do another story about Planet Vegeta. They could I don't think they need to tie themselves down to continuity. I think they're making it overly convoluted. And I think by going back and trying to fix Z that's 10 years old, is beating a dead horse. For me, it's just that, let it go. You don't need to go back to Z. Dragon Ball is an iconic name on its own. You could do different things with. And that's why when people compare Superman to Goku, they're not in the same class because Superman is an icon that they've used to tell various stories, to have a lot of different pathos that Goku doesn't stand for. Yeah. He's just a fighter. And when I watched Battle of the Gods, I was surprised how funny it was. And the thing was, it actually made me laugh. I was begrudgingly like, this is a funny movie. But it was a disappointment because it wasn't really a Dragon Ball Z movie. It felt like a Dragon Ball movie because Dragon Ball had that good balance of action and comedy, and that's what Akira Toriyama is good at, and we see that in this. But in Dragon Ball Z, which he did write for the most part, he didn't do that. In Dragon Ball Z, he mostly focused on action and over-the-top, overblown, ridiculously high-stakes action, planets exploding, universes colliding, spirit bombs gathered from everyone. This was just overkill. So now, and again, even though it's bringing it back, now you hear little drops of that, oh, there's 12 other universes, there's 12 other gods. Dragon Ball Z is a parody of itself. I don't want to see any more universes. And when you told me that, oh, now there's no more Super Saiyan level 1, 2, there's no more levels, it's just Super Saiyan, and I, because Vegeta, at a point, they revealed that he becomes more powerful than Goku because he got angry. Well, it doesn't matter why, but it didn't make any sense, and he didn't go Super Saiyan 3. And I was like, how could Vegeta be more powerful than Goku when he gets to Super Saiyan 3? But as you said, and they didn't illustrate this well in the movie, even though Goku did kind of acknowledge it. You were more powerful than me.
That was basically the final conclusion. Right?
But they didn't acknowledge that at this point, Super Saiyan levels won't exist anymore. I think they could have done a better job doing that. But putting all that aside, watching Battle of the Gods, I was like, you're beating a dead horse. I don't want to watch Dragon Ball Z from this point on, even if you make it, even if they make it a better ending. To me, it doesn't feel, it just feels like, well, they just ended Z again. It feels like they keep tacking, it's like, putting a plaster on a wound again. It's like, just leave it alone. That's what I'm saying. And then to make matters worse, I see Resurrection Frieza. I'm like, you're bringing back Frieza again? I'm like, beating a dead horse again. I'm like, to me, Dragon Ball is bigger than what they've limited it to in this one timeline.
The universe is bigger.
The universe, they should do an alternate. I keep on saying this, just do an alternate story. Start again. I'm not saying they need to redo Dragon Ball, make him young again. They can do anything they want. They can do another Goku, or they can do a very similar timeline with just slight differences that we don't go so high stakes. But again, I'm not. Look, it's not that I don't think Super S can be good, but it doesn't feel like a new thing. It just feels like he's jumping back on. I got a few new ideas, and I'm like,
and that's the thing, like that. It doesn't feel like a conclusion story. When you see the intro to the show and the way they're promoting it, doesn't feel like here's a final season that will close it up. It actually feels to me. And one of my complaints is, like, I'm hopeful, but from one episode you can't tell how the show's gonna be. But the way it feels to me, they're trying to update Dragon Ball Z if it was made today.
Yes.
So the theme song is like a J-pop song, as if it was made today. Yeah. They have a proper ending song, something to sell. Yeah. And it really feels like this is gonna be the exact same format that all the shonen shows are now. So very long, very dragged out.
Like goddamn One Piece.
Yeah, exactly. Like the One Piece model. So it doesn't feel like it's gonna continue, what Dragon Ball Z did back in the day. No. But do it better, shorter, more constructed. It feels like, let's reboot the series and let's do it the way we do everything else today. Yeah. And that could be the downfall of it. And again, the reason why Dragon Ball as a franchise started aging badly, because it was rehashing the same thing. Like, 80% of the cast is useless now because the only plotline they have is fight the next stronger opponent. Yeah. So all the characters that can't level up infinitely are just standing there. That was the worst part about Battle of the Gods, that it's a birthday party and you have all these characters that used to be active just standing around while this guy is beating everybody up.
Can I mention something about Battle of the Gods? Do you know why? One other reason why I thought this movie was so funny? The plot to Battle of the Gods is, guys, if you haven't watched it, you should watch this video.
It's kind of quite lazy.
It's like this god guy wants to find this. He had a dream about a Super Saiyan god, so he wants to find one. And the funniest thing about this movie is there is no Super Saiyan god. So there gets a point in the movie where God goes, "I got an idea. Let's get the Dragon Balls." And at that point, I thought to myself, they're actually gonna wish for a Super Saiyan god. And I thought this show is so self-aware that it's. And I actually thought it was kind of genius that wow, this show is so dumb. It's actually willing to just take the shortcut and be like, "Fuck this, we're not gonna find or do training." Hey, Dragon, just wish her. And then what's even worse is that Dragon's like, "Nah, then Goku's like, nah, it's out of his power to kind of wish for that. Or something like, even the dragon has power levels. It just reminds me how ridiculous Dragon Ball is. And then they just asked the Dragon to tell them how to become a Super Saiyan God. And when they told him, you must combine all the... It's like the same thing as joining, just giving... I'm like, it's comical and it's dumb. And they even mentioned that the name Super Saiyan God is so pretentious and self-indulgent and pathetic. And I just thought that... This is
going off now.
No, this is meant to be funny.
Yeah.
And it is funny because they are self-aware to a point. But the stupidness still outweighs the self-awareness. I'm like... Well,
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan it doesn't exactly roll off your tongue.
Well, that's going to be in the next movie. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Yeah, SSG, SS.
SSG, right? I mean, I know it's meant to be funny. But there's... The balance between funny and just stupidness. I'm sorry, man. Maybe I'm too old, but... And you know what?
I mean, that's the problem when something's so long. I mean, Vegeta's original wish was to be immortal, and then because of the plot, it would have been hard if he kept chasing that dream. He just gave up on that. But, you know, he was a slightly different character throughout the Freezer saga, where it was like winning no matter what, then it was winning with honor no matter what cost. And I know, of course, we all watched it. We know he went through changes and yada yada yada. I'm just saying, when you have something that's had so much going on and has been around for so long, the plot holes keep filling up, and that's why everybody just said leave it alone.
Yeah.
But it feels to me like he's aware of these things now. Like, they're addressing that, like just stuff he mentions, like no more ridiculous levels. Yeah. So there will be more to the story.
But wouldn't it have been better if he just started from the beginning instead of trying to? That's what I'm saying. It's fine for you to say all that, but at this point, why are you going back on top?
Oh yeah, like where is it gonna go? Like, is it gonna be like?
Why are you trying to fix it from the top? Why don't you fix it from the bottom and just start, wipe the plate clean with the same? Would it be so hard? And guys, I know some of the Japanese don't do it. That's why DC and Marvel are shit, because there's so many interpretations. New 52, Marvel now, I'm like, but you know what? It works on the whole. Because people can take what they like Dragon Ball, they like GT, and you could even say GT is an example of that. Fine, and maybe not like it, but for me, I'm just...
Well, it's easier if it's if it has a real life backdrop. Like all those characters are set in a universe that mimics real life.
Yeah.
Nothing in Dragon Ball was real, and even Dragon Ball Z cuts a little bit down on that. You still have... You don't see that many mutants around who are half animal and all that, but it's clearly like a fantasy world. Yeah. So it's hard to kind of make that jump, because with comics, every now and then, it used to be back in the 30s, 40s, obviously then 50s, 60s, 80s, modern day, because as the world evolves with the times, the comic books catch up. But with Dragon Ball, it was always futuristic. It was always timeless. So it's harder to make that adoption of adjusting to the times, and I think that's what they're trying to do with the more character-focused story of let's address issues like actual parenting of Goku never having a job or never looking after his
that's what
kids.
Everyone was looking for in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Can I swiftly change the trajectory of this conversation now?
Let's go.
Do you know what I feel like has really helped Dragon Ball's success?
Goku versus Superman?
Yes.
Yeah. The most pointless argument, in my opinion, ever, because people, if you're one of those motherfuckers, I'm sorry, who gets into that shit, just look at yourself. It's like you're in a relationship. You know how they say in a relationship, you never actually argue about what you argue. It's always whatever is in your head in the background. There's always an issue beneath it. It's the same fucking thing. No, nobody argues about Goku versus Superman because it's a fun conversation amongst nerds.
Yeah.
Everybody, you give it 2 seconds, it turns into America versus Japan, DC versus, shonen,
anime versus cartoons.
It's always some xenophobic, nationalist
East versus West.
So the American government paid off Screw Attack to make Superman win. I'm like, do you even fucking listen to yourself?
And Superman won. It's a travesty. They hate anime. They hate Japan. Look, let me just say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say some really controversial things gonna piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. There you go.
No, not even that. I'm gonna say something even worse.
Okay, lay it on me.
There wouldn't be a Dragon Ball Z if there was no Superman anyway.
Or Terminator. There wouldn't be no Trunk Saga without Terminator yet.
I mean, Akira Toriyama is known for taking so many things from pop culture and twists, but if you look at Dragon Ball, and I know this feels like a long shit, but sorry guys, we have to add this at the end, but if you look at Dragon Ball Z in particular, that's where they added this whole Saiyan, last person on Planet Vegeta, you know, Kal-El storyline. That's where they got a lot of that from. You cannot say you got them from Superman. I always said that when you put Goku against Superman, it's not a fair fight anyway. You got 60 or 70 years worth of story with Superman in various iterations. You got 30 years of Goku in one singular, although convoluted franchise. And they just don't match up. And when Screw Attack did that video, I agree with their reasoning. I don't think it's a fair fight, and I do feel that they missed a lot of opinions, but ultimately, I didn't really care who won. And now they're doing a rematch because now that, again, I felt like when the Superman vs. Goku thing came, it was a hit everywhere. Everyone was talking about it, everyone was arguing.
I was shocked how many hits that video got.
I'm sure that obviously it did really good for Dragon Ball Z popularity, it did really good for them, and it also probably got Akira Toriyama thinking, I'm really sitting on the gold mine here. We've got the Superman of Japan.
That whole, you know, God mode seemed to me like, oh, this is just to make Goku more badass.
Yeah,
let's just give him more street credit.
We need to put him up. We can't just keep him on that Super Saiyan 3 level. So when I look at this new, someone asked me, everyone's like, why are they doing this new video? You know, it's hits. They got a lot of backlash for letting Goku win. And honestly, I don't care. I mean, superhero comic book fights in general are fun. I don't care, but Goku shouldn't be Superman in my opinion. Just logically, that's the end of the day. Not because I prefer Goku. Even though I don't like Goku as a character anyway, I think he's a cool guy, this and the other, but I prefer Superman. I think he's got more against Goku anyway. And if Superman should win for the same reasons he won last time, if I said this on Facebook as well, and I've got to wrap this up now, but Super Saiyan, Super God Saiyan, Super God Saiyan, Super Saiyan, whatever, it's just a multiplier. Once again.
Blue shit. Call it blue shit.
Well, it's red. The blue is a Super God Super, but
okay, now you're confusing
all
me.
I'm saying is that it's just another multiplier. Toriyama isn't thinking of anything really unique. He's just adding multipliers in terms of power. So Super Saiyan God, they probably was like, oh, now he's Super Saiyan 4 times 1,000. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just, of all the battles, I just don't think the Saiyan, I hate to end on a very negative note. I don't think the Dragon Ball Z power structure is clever. I think it's very lazy. I don't think it's good. They limited themselves. In Dragon Ball, it's very creative with moves.
Oh yeah.
But once they moved to power levels and energy blast and just concentrated on, you don't even see power levels anymore, numbers. They just tell you who's the strongest. That's how you know. You don't know. They don't tell you who's the strongest. You can't figure it out based on movesets.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the end of the day, a Superman versus a Goku fight is kind of pointless because the person who's going to win, whoever they decide in the script. But if you're going on logic, Superman should win every time, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll say something even more controversial.
I'm done, by the way.
I know you are. You vented it out, but I say something that's even more controversial.
What's that?
They're both fucking fictional characters. It's not a real fucking match. You don't have real people fighting. You can't compare apples and oranges. And you know why? Because they're fictional, so they can always make up new shit. Everybody can have
people now.
And everybody can have a new, like Goku got two new power. He went God, and he went even Godder. Now he's God of gods. And Superman, there's a form of him, I think, and I'm not, following DC Comics, but he has like, what's it called? Prime Million, where he's in the sun for how many years, and he comes back all golden, and then he literally is a god.
Well, he's got a new power that's actually canon, which he can make himself explode.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically, it's like an inverted version of his heat vision. He can explode and then he turns human, but it's like a nuclear, like I think it's a 10-ton.
If you're not having fun, because that's my thing.
Yeah.
Every time I read those comments in these videos, it's people cussing each other,
and the
racial slurs. Yeah. I'm gonna rape your mother. Yeah. Nobody's having a fun conversation because nobody actually cares about the subject. It's about anime versus cartoons
or comics versus manga.
Yeah, exactly. Because
it's not a fair fight anyway, guys. It's honestly, it really is. It might be fun to watch, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a fun fight to watch. But other than that, it wasn't fair. It's kind of pointless. And it doesn't really have enough, to be honest with you, it's had a positive effect because, like I said, I think it's had a hand in rejuvenating the Dragon Ball franchise.
Well, so, I think being a pop culture phenomenon on a whole now had an effect because now you don't have to take it so seriously. Previously, it was like either you continue the story or you don't.
Yeah.
But now they can come in midway and discount everything that happened since and just say, oh, don't worry about that. Now we're gonna redo the ending.
Dragon Ball must be, honestly, at this point, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but I'm being completely unbiased. I think it's becoming one of the most convoluted animes of all time. The animated series, the way they're messing with this timeline. And honestly, I'm very skeptical. I'll be watching it in chunks, guys, and I don't think we'll be reviewing it on Planet Tyro about it, because honestly, but I've got nothing else to say. I need to wrap this up now.
So, you're skeptic still?
Yeah.
I was skeptic.
But I'll have fun with it. I will watch it and have fun with it, just because we're in too deep now to even jump out.
That's my logic. I'm like, I used to be skeptic.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of the spin-offs or anything that wasn't the main, and I thought the main is a product of its time. It doesn't make sense anymore. It's too filled with plot holes. Leave it as a nostalgic piece of childhood. But if they redo it and they know that and they address that, I'm hopeful. So let's see what happens.
The Japanese, whoever, Akira Toriyama, if you're watching this, and you're never going to watch this video.
I don't think the man speaks English, actually.
Well, if any of your team or anyone from the nation...
If one of you subs this Japanese and sends it to him.
Something happened. But I'm just saying, I think I want to end on a positive note. Dragon Ball has some great potential. The Saiyans are a great race. They've had, from Dragon Ball to even Z, they've shown concepts and ideas that they could do so many things that could definitely rival Superman in terms of creative writing. But the way they're going on about it now, Dragon Ball, my realization now is Dragon Ball is a comedy first and an action show second. And that's not a bad thing. But when I look at Dragon Ball in retrospect, it's a bit of a mess and it isn't consistent in what it's trying to do. So that's why I'm very skeptical. And when this is done, when this iteration of Super, whatever, I just don't. When I'm gonna look at it on the whole and say Dragon Ball is a hodgepodge anime show, it just, and even now, I don't think they can fix that opinion. But will I have fun with it? We'll see. I'm not even gonna say yes because it's gonna be funny, but I'm skeptical. Let me just stop rambling because that's how I feel about it right now. Anyway, so
all I'm gonna say is don't rehash the old storylines. The rival becomes the friend, becomes the new rival. The villain becomes the friend, new rival. Then the big main boss guy gets replaced by an even bigger main boss. Don't rehash those storylines. Let's do something new and exciting. I don't care what it is, but do something new. Give these characters a new type of adventure.
What he said. Guys, thanks for watching the video. If you got this far, it was a bit of a ramble, but that's our thoughts on the situation so far. We'll be staying tuned. If you follow me on Facebook or maybe Twitter, I might just give you my thoughts as I watch it, which is going to be completely random. But if it gets to a point that it ends within the next year or two, then I'll review it. But if it's going to go on like One Piece, no, we won't be talking about it on Planet Tyro. So leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. And I want to thank my man Simon had to come back on to have this discussion because he is the Dragon Ball franchise expert.
Oh, apparently I am the franchise expert.
And he didn't even get in. We had to kind of just stick to the topic because he could have. He brought up so many points that enlightened me, but.
Yeah, we could go on as long as probably the anime is gonna go on.
And this video was definitely longer than the first part. But guys, we just had to get it all out, and I think we're okay. We're good now.
Yeah, we're good. We're hopeful but skeptic.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.